Hello and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian if you're new around here, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, Soul Nation. You look gorgeous and smashing today. That's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Free compliments at the start of my videos. We're going to do a deep dive into my ultimate controller guide, show you how to do everything on a controller in New World, and you can also go download my configuration file from Steam. The link will be in the description. Also, by that, if you guys are curious about this game and want to be able to try to win a free copy, check the second link for my Twitter. We've got a giveaway going on over there if you want to have an opportunity to win a copy of New World. So, all of that being said, this is going to be a rather extensive guide. If you guys have any questions, feel free to sound off in the comments below. If you feel like I earn it and earn your subscription and or that like button, I appreciate it as it helps freely share out the video. Now, it's important that I've been playing with this game for a long time on a controller, but what I've ended up doing was founding a great starter, and then I've heavily modified it. But to start off, Udoman, UDO Man 256 has uploaded their fully functional setup. You can check out that one as well. That's going to probably be the easiest place to start if you don't want to take on my additional configuration settings, but I'll leave the choice up to you. So if you do decide to download and use my configuration, you're going to have to make a couple of key binding changes right out of the gate. If I pull up my settings menu here, you can see here that I've changed my auto run to middle mouse button, weapon ability 1, 2, and 3 to Q, E, and R, and interact to F. I've also changed my ping to the equals key. So basically, auto run and ping have shifted positions, and then my weapon abilities have changed a little bit. So if you download mine right out of the gate, you're going to need to make these changes. Otherwise, things aren't going to work as you necessarily expect them to. All right, so now let's go ahead and dive into my controller configuration specifically. Pressing Shift and Tab will open up this menu, and you can click on controller configuration up here in the upper right-hand corner. This is going to load up the tool here, and you can see the various different views that I've got. And let me kind of walk you through what I've got functional, and that way you can kind of decide if this is going to be a right fit for you. Left trigger, in this case, is going to be kind of block and aim. Right trigger is going to be fire and attack. Ability 1 and 3 are actually going to be mapped to the left bumper, and ability 2 and 3 are going to be mapped to the right bumper. That means one press is going to be ability 1, one press with the right is going to be ability 2. A long hold press will activate ability 3 on either of the bumpers. Inventory is going to be the select button, and your main menu and map are going to be the start button. And you can see here, this will actually change to a different makeup setup and kind of modify the controls accordingly. Moving is going to be with the left stick. Auto move, auto run is going to be clicking the left stick. Then your D-pad is going to function as consumables if you hold up. Your social actions if you hold left. You can toggle to fishing mode with the right button, and you can ping, or you can activate your camera by holding down the down button. On the right stick, it's going to be functional for your looking of the camera. And then for your buttons here, Y is going to swap and sheath your weapon. So pressing it will swap, holding it will sheath. X will be your interact and secondary interaction buttons. B is going to be crouch or prone. And A is going to be your jump button. Or if you hold it, it's going to be able to bring up your making of your camp. Now, like if you just kind of jump into inventory, pretty much you can see X will be repair, Y will be split, B is exit inventory, etc. And there's a couple ways that the system navigates you through, and we're going to cover that here as we dive more into it. Let me go and show you how this all functions as an example, and then that way, if you guys have any questions, you can let me know as well. I'm going to go ahead and close this down and jump into the game itself. I can always hold B to exit out of any menu. All right, so now that we've seen pretty much the overview of the controller setup, let me go and show it to you in practical ways. Now to start, let's go ahead and talk about combat. Pressing the Y button on the controller will swap different weapons, left trigger, and then I can fire with right. I can obviously like aim with the right stick, so you have a lot of movement. You can still also dodge and roll. Pressing Y again, swap my weapons. If I hold down the Y, I'm going to put my weapon away. A acts as a jump. It also acts as a camp mechanism. So now I've destroyed my camp, and I go ahead and like want to rebind it. Pressing right trigger is going to apply that. Now I can apply the wood resources, but it looks like I need some flint. So if I run around, I'm sure to find some flint in here while I kind of talk about the rest of it. Double tapping the B button will allow me to crouch. And if I hold down B, it will allow me to go prone and crawl along the ground. I can always hold B again to get back up, or I can press A to easily jump out of that menu. If I run up to anything, I can interact with it by pressing the F key, or in this case, X. That's going to allow me to chop down this tree. If I wanted to do the T as the alternate target, you can actually hold X down in that case. And finally, just from just a pure, like, how do you function? How do you do things? If I press and pull out my weapon for my axe to see my abilities, if I press the left bumper, I'm going to go and use Q. If I press right bumper, I'm going to use the E skill. If I press and hold either of these, I'll actually use my right trigger skill and be able to do the my third ability in this case. So that is a couple of things, but there's still so much more. Pressing down on the right stick is going to allow me to do a dodge roll. Pressing down on the left stick is going to allow me to auto run. And then I have my D-pad. If I press and hold up, and I press like up on the right stick, I'm going to go ahead and consume food. That's up, down, left, and right to be able to use 3, 4, 5, and 6 for your consumables. If I press and hold the left D-pad, if I press up, it's going to bring my emotes. For some reason, they're not displaying in the current beta. If I press like left, right, and down, it's going to allow me to do different social interactions, like you can see here, like the H key and more. So you can obviously play around with it and get that configured to the heart's content. If I press down on the D-pad, it's going to do a ping, allowing me to kind of signal, hey, I'm going this way, or we need to look over here. If I hold down the down button and I use the right stick, I can zoom in and out of my character, giving me that full mouse control. Releasing it returns my camera control back to me the way that I want it to be. If I press down on or press the select button, here's my inventory. Pressing it again is going to cancel out of that. Or if I just press start, it's going to bring me back into my map and into my main menu. If I hold just down the start, I can kind of interact with this. You can also use the tab buttons to navigate the different tabs and start. It's going to skip over settings and the game menu, but you can always use your right stick as the mouse cursor, and you can use the right and left trigger accordingly. Now in the map mode, if we go back here, I can press up and down on the D-pad to zoom in and out, and I can grab the map and move it around with the left and the right trigger, and I can press B, and then I'm back in to my main menu world of navigation and awesome. So that should be a good general overview, but there's so much more that I want to show you. So let's go ahead and talk about fishing. If I press right on the D-pad, and then I can actually press up to equip various bait that I want to use. So you can see freshwater bait, equip bait, using the right stick and the right trigger. I can now go ahead and use the right trigger to go ahead and cast my fishing line. This is going to allow me to fish and interact with the fishing mode completely on controller without need of the keyboard and mouse. If you've never fished in this game before, just kind of as an aside, I do plan on putting out an ultimate fishing guide here on the channel, but you can say, hey, get ready, go ahead and fish, and then you hold down the right trigger to reel it in. You just make sure that you don't let that tension get too high. Let it rest, that way you can reel your fish in and play this little fishing mini game. Just like that, a fish has been caught. To exit out of the fishing mode, you can always again press right on the D-pad, and now fishing mode is complete. Let's go do some crafting. Crafting is a huge part of the game, so you just want to go up to any crafting station, and this is where you'll use your right trigger, and you can also just drag and drop and pull the things below, also collapsing various things. But to craft is pretty basic. You want to pick on what you can craft, and then essentially right trigger, and that's it. Like, that's how you can interact with this game, the crafting system, and more, especially when you go into different menus. And yeah, hopefully this has given you a good overview of the game itself, how you can interact, how you can use the controller to do every function that is available for you in the game. And I hope that you enjoy. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Also, again, check the link for downloading the profile over on Steam, and hopefully that is a huge help. And feel free to obviously make any kind of modifications and more that you want, because that's what's important. Find the controller setup that works best for you. For Ginger Prime, my name is Brian. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this has been a help. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.
A little off topic, but I just want to say thank you for providing me a friendly, fun, and optimistic community. Baby. Coming from an MMO community filled with toxicity, this is an amazing breath of fresh air. Keep it up, baby. Oh, yeah.